You're not behind, you're comparing. And until you separate those two, you will keep misinterpreting your own life. Notice when that feeling of being behind actually happens. It's not random, it's triggered. You see someone announce their engagement on social media. You hear about a friend's promotion at work. You scroll past a post showcasing someone's incredible progress on a project. And in that moment, something inside you contracts. Your chest tightens up. Your thoughts start racing. And your self-evaluation becomes incredibly harsh. You label that feeling as being behind. But that feeling didn't originate from your life, from your actual circumstances. It came from measurement. It came from comparison. Before we go deeper into this, I want you to pause for a moment. If you're willing to question yourself and your own perceptions instead of just blaming your circumstances, subscribe to Daily Reset Lab. This series is designed for people who are seeking genuine awareness, not just superficial reassurance. Let's be clear, there is no global scoreboard for life. There's no official ranking system for adulthood. There is no cosmic announcement that flashes across the sky and says, "Attention, you are late." And yet, your brain behaves as if there is. Why does it do that? Because as humans, we evolved in tribes. And in those tribes, status mattered. Visibility mattered. Your position within the group was critical for survival. Today, our tribe is digital. The scoreboard is social media. And the visibility is constant, 24/7. Your brain still interprets all that visibility as status. So when someone else's progress becomes highly visible, when they post that shiny new achievement, your brain automatically starts calculating your position relative to theirs. It does this without your permission. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's just your primal wiring at work. But understanding that wiring doesn't remove your responsibility. It just explains the mechanism behind the feeling. Ask yourself this question. If you lived in complete isolation, no social media updates, no milestones being broadcasted for everyone to see, would you still feel behind? Or would you just feel like you were moving, living your life at your own pace? Comment below if you've ever felt perfectly fine, even happy, about your life. Right up until the moment you saw someone else's progress. That stark contrast is the clue. It shows you where the feeling is really coming from. Comparison doesn't just create a sense of insecurity. It manufactures urgency. And that feeling of urgency is what we interpret as falling behind. But this urgency is rarely about your actual timing. It's about exposure. When someone achieves something publicly, your own private, steady pace suddenly feels slow. And in our fast-paced world, slow can feel dangerous. So what do? You start to rush. You pivot your career prematurely. You start questioning decisions that felt solid and right just yesterday. You abandon processes that simply needed more time to bear fruit. This happens because comparison completely shifts your internal clock. Instead of asking the most important question, is this path aligned with who I am and what I truly want? You start asking, is this path fast enough to keep up? That single shift in focus destroys your clarity. True alignment builds slowly, deliberately, over time. Status, on the other hand, can spike quickly with one viral post or public achievement. So which one are you actually chasing? If this is resonating with you, save this video right now. Because the next time that wave of comparison hits, you won't be thinking clearly. You'll be in a reactive state. Come back to this video when that happens to ground yourself again. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once wrote, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." Most people misunderstand this profound statement. They think anxiety is just the fear of failure. But Kierkegaard was pointing at something much deeper. He believed that true anxiety happens when you finally realize that you are completely free. Free to choose your own path. Free to define your own version of success. Free to move differently than the crowd. And that level of freedom can be destabilizing. It can be terrifying. Because once you admit that you are free, you lose all your excuses. If there is no universal timeline for life, then you are responsible for defining your own. If there is no official deadline for success, then you must be the one to decide your own pace. And taking that responsibility is so much heavier than simply believing you're behind. Comparison is seductive because it simplifies everything. If you're behind, then the solution is simple. Just go faster. But if you're free, then the solution is responsibility. It's ownership. Which one of those feels easier? Be honest with yourself. Long-term, chronic comparison doesn't just distort your sense of time. It fragments your very identity. You start borrowing other people's desires. You absorb their ambitions without questioning them. You start imitating definitions of success that you've never actually examined for yourself. You see someone else build an impressive company, and you automatically assume you want that too. You see someone else get praised for a highly visible accomplishment, and you assume that must be the feeling of fulfillment. Over time, your internal compass, your intuition, grows weaker. It's been constantly overridden by external signals. And eventually, you find yourself saying, I don't know what I want anymore. That's not just confusion. That's erosion. You have eroded your own clarity by outsourcing your self-evaluation. You outsourced your definition of success to whatever is most visible. And visibility does not equal alignment. This is precisely why some people achieve everything they ever chased: the money, the status, the recognition, and still feel completely empty inside. Because what they were chasing was reactive. It wasn't deliberate. It wasn't their own. If you realize you've been building your life reactively, don't panic. But please, don't ignore it either. Follow this series if you're ready to start rebuilding deliberately from a place of authenticity. So let's strip everything away for a moment. Imagine there's no audience, no comparison, no scoreboard, no synchronized timelines that you have to adhere to. It's just you. In that quiet space, what do you actually want? Not what looks impressive to others, not what would silence your critics, not what makes you feel temporarily ahead in some imaginary race. What feels stable? What feels meaningful to you, even if no one else ever claps or notices? Sit with the discomfort of that question. Most people cannot. They can't bear it. And that's why they keep measuring, keep comparing, because measurement is a distraction from decision. And making a real decision requires ownership. So let's bring it back to the beginning. You are not behind. You are measuring. And measuring feels productive, doesn't it? It feels like you're doing something. But it's a passive act. It allows you to observe everyone else's life instead of choosing your own. And as long as you observe more than you decide, you will always feel late. Because someone will always move faster. Someone will always achieve something sooner. Someone's success will always be louder. The real question isn't whether others are ahead of you. The real question is whether you are willing to stop looking sideways long enough to move forward deliberately on your own terms. Awareness is uncomfortable, but comfort is not where growth happens. Now, the responsibility is yours. Thank you for watching.